We're going to go ahead and do the review for quarter 4 exam. And we're going to do number 2. We're going to go ahead and do the evens. Find any points of discontinuity. And so if you want to find that, you're going to have to factor the denominator. And two numbers that you multiply to give you negative 15 are, I know that 5 times 3 gives you 15. But 5 plus 3 gives you 8. One of them has to be negative. So it'll be 5 times negative 3, which gives you 2, and that gives you the middle term, or the middle coefficient. So you want to write this in factor form. We have x plus 7 divided by x plus 5 times x minus 3. So we're going to go to our calculator, and we're going to look at the table. So we have x plus 7. And then our denominator, we have x plus 5. And we also have x minus 3. Let's look at our table so we can see the undefined point. So we know that when x is 3, it's undefined. And you see that there. And then when x is negative 5, it's also undefined. So the points of discontinuity, x cannot equal negative 5, and x cannot equal 3. Number 4, we have to write this product in simplest form. So we're going to factor again. So we have w squared. We have w squared over w minus 1 times, and we're going to factor the factors of 5 that give you a negative 6, which will be w minus 1 times w minus 5 divided by, now w is a common factor, so you have w plus 6. So you notice that w minus 1 and w minus 1 is going to become 1. And you know that w and w squared, which is going to be left with a w up there. So our restrictions, w cannot equal 0, w cannot equal 1, and w cannot equal negative 6. And when we simplify, we will have w times w minus 5 divided by w plus 6. Now you notice it's not there, but what they did is they went ahead and they multiplied w times w, which gives you w squared, minus 5w divided by w plus 6. So which of these is going to be? Well, definitely A is not it. D is not it. And we know our restrictions are 0, 1, and negative 6, so the best answer is B. B is our answer. For number 6, it says, what is a simpler form of the radical expression? We know that the index is 3. Now, I'm kind of interested to see what is 5 to the power 3. So that's 125. So I'm going to write everything in powers of 3, since that's our index. So our index is the third root. So we have 5 to the third power. We have x to the third power times x to the third power times x to the third power. 3 plus 3 plus 3 gives you 9. And we have y to the third power, and that's going to have to be 6 times. And that's just a way for you to understand that the power and the index are going to cancel. Now, there is a faster way to do this, and I'm going to tell you right now the faster way. You see 18 and 9, they're divisible by 3, the index. So you just have to divide, and that's going to give you what it simplifies to. So in this case, it's going to simplify to 5. And we know that x to the 9th, 9 divided by 3 is 3. So you have x to the 3rd. And you know that y to the 18, 18 and 3 are 18 is divisible by 3. So you're going to have y to the 6. So you have 5, x to the 3rd, y to the 6th. So your answer is C. What is the simplest form of the product? So this is the 3rd root and this is the 3rd root. So we know that we have 6 times 7. So you're going to get the 3rd root of 6 times 7, which is 42. We have x squared times x to the 7th, which gives you x to the 9th. And like I told you earlier, that 9 is divisible by 3. So you just have to divide, and that's going to be what it is when you get the cube root of x to the 9th. So it's going to be x to the 3rd times the cube root of 42. So your answer is C. So once again, if I can show you, you have the cube root, and it's 42, x to the 3rd, x to the 3rd, times x to the 3rd. And so when you get the cube root of x, it's going to be x. The cube root of x to the cubed is x. And then the cube root of x to the cubed is x. So it's actually x to the 3rd times the cube root of 42, which is the same way as I told you earlier, 9 divided by 3. For 10, you have 24 and 3. So what you want to do is you can go ahead and make this into one radical. So you have 24 x to the 16th divided by 3x. So if you can divide, go ahead and divide. So you get the square root of 8. And we have x to the 15th. So what we want is we want everything in powers of 2, or we can get the square root. So in this case, it's going to be 4 times 2. And since our index is 2, we want it to be divisible by 2. So it's going to be x to the 14th times x. Okay? So since the index is 2, the square root of 4 is 2. That 2 will stay in the radical. X to the 14th, and we're going to get the square root of that. So it's going to be x to the 7th. How do I get that? 14 divided by 2. Now we do have one that's left over. So it's going to be this one times x. So it's 2 times x to the 7th times the square root of 2x. So your answer is C. Number 12, I'm going to want you to go ahead and use your calculator to solve this rational expression. So let me show you how to do that. Go to graph. Go to graph, and then you're going to type in control division, and then you're going to type in, we're doing 12. So we have x plus 4 divided by x plus 7, enter. Then go ahead and graph the right side of the equation. So we have x plus 9 divided by x minus 9. And the solution will be where they both intersect. So go to menu, analyze graph, find the intersection. So the intersection is negative 4.71. So it has to be one of these three numbers. I'm thinking it's going to be negative 33 over 7, and you can check that. Negative 33 divided by 7, enter, control, enter. That's it. So your answer is B. Let's go ahead and try to do 14. So 14, let's go ahead and use our calculator. So we go to on, go to graph, and we're going to type in the left side. So it's going to be controlled division, and we have x plus 1. And then in the denominator, we have x plus 7. Press enter. And then let's go ahead and type in the right side. So we're going to go to menu, graph, equation editor. So we're going to type in x minus 4 divided by x plus 6. Enter. And you might have to, and let's double check our equation. So you have x plus 1 divided by x plus 7. And then you have x minus 4 divided by x. Okay, and then you try and define the intersection. So you go to menu, window, zoom out, and you want to find where the intersection is. I had to pause the video because I think I graphed it incorrectly, but now I got the intersections right here. So go to menu, analyze graph, intersection. So the intersection is negative 8.5. So for this answer, Q is equal to negative 8.5. 16, write the equation in log form. So remember, it's the inverse, so you're going to write log. The base is 2. The answer is 8,192, and that's equal to 13. So your answer is C. Write the expression as a single log. So you see we have they're adding these two logs with the same base. So that 5 and that 4 are going to have to become exponents. So you have log, and that's the power property, log base b, and then you have y to the 5th, plus log base b, and then you have x to the 4th. So it's going to be, you're going to have to use a product property, so it's going to be log base b, and you have x to the 4th, y to the 5th. So which one is it? It is B. 20, we have to expand. So we have to put the 2, so we're going to expand. So it's going to be log base 2 of 3. So let's stop there. We know it's going to be the product property. So you add log base 2 of p squared. Then we're going to use the power property. So we have log base 2 of 3 plus 2 times log base 2 of p. So your answer is 8. Okay, I'm going to do 22 here to the side if I can. If you notice, there's no base, but there is. It's understood as base 10. So we have 10 to the power 3 equals 8x plus 6. So you have 8x equals 10 to the power 3 minus 6, and then you have to divide by 8. So go ahead and we have 10 to the power 3 minus 6 divided by 8. It's 4, okay, so it's B. 24, we're going to have to make that into a single logarithm. So you got to look at the left side. So we have log base 10, and so it's going to be 2x times 11 equals 2. So we have log base 10 of 22x equals 2. So we have to convert it to exponential form. So it's 10 squared equals 10 squared equals 22x. So you have 100 equals 22x divided by, it's going to be, each side is divided by 22. So you have 100 divided by 22. So it's 4.5. It's round to the nearest hundredth. So it's 4.55. That's what x is going to be.